I do a little video, man. Fontana back to San Bernardino. I'm going all the way down baseline. I don't feel like getting on the freeway. But while I'm doing this little trip, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of just tell people about this trucking industry. If you're thinking about getting into it, be careful. Just be careful, because if you're driving local, that's the most consistent money you're gonna get, unless you got your own truck and you got some dope brokers, or you got a dedicated account. Dedicated account means you got an account to you got Amazon or Home Depot, and you go to the same places every day, or you take the same trip. If you got to hit the road, if you have to drive out of state, they call that over road or regional. But yeah, the best bet is if you got a job with a dedicated account, or if you have your own truck and you could get a dedicated account, you ain't got to worry about looking for loads, dealing with these brokers that don't want to pay, and it just eliminates the headache of inconsistent loads and not knowing exactly where you're going every week. It's just more stability. A lot of these companies, I can't speak for in the Bay Area, NorCal, but I can speak for down here, SoCal, from Fontana to Bakersfield. They got some of the crappiest trucking companies ever. And all you got to do is, if you're looking for a trucking company, you see these posts on Indeed, or you see them on Facebook, Instagram, they'll pop up. If you start, looking, if you're doing a job search, it'll pop up on Facebook and Instagram too. But Craigslist, man, look up the company. If it has an address, look up the address. If they had mentioned the name, look up the name, look at the reviews, and that should speak for itself. If all the employees, all the drivers are happy, then that's a good company. It's a decent company. You're not going to get everything. You can't win across the board. All right, it's going to be pros and cons with every company, but some of them, the cons aren't like a big deal. It just might be a preference you might have had that they don't offer, or not exactly what you wanted. But the bigger companies, they have they got all the money, so you don't have to worry about maintenance issues. You don't have to worry about waiting on a repair if the truck break down. They have 24-hour roadside, somebody that you could call. They have dispatch, or somebody you could call any time of the day if you break down, and they'll get somebody out to you as soon as possible. They don't care how much it costs to get the repair done. These smaller companies, they're cheap. One thing to look out for: if the company has a fleet of international trucks, stay away from that company, because they're cheap. They probably have maintenance issues. The trucks always, but you're not going to get those consistent miles. You're always going to be held up because of breakdowns. And the company, usually those companies, they don't treat the drivers well because they're cheap. I hate to bring race into everything, but I'm living it. So for my African Americans out there, I would stay away from companies owned by people from India. Flat out. It's just the truth. Because they might seem like they decent and cool, but they're gonna treat you like crap. They're some of the worst. They're more racist than some white folks. Like they'll run you to the ground. Like I'm dealing with right now, a company I was working for in Fontana last year, 2022. They it was just toe up, man. I had to, my anxiety had got real bad. I had to, last summer, I was off from the middle of June to the end of August. Insomnia, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't pass my physical because the anxiety, every time I would go to do my physical, So you got to do a physical. If you have a condition or something, you have to do it every year. If you're just normal, you have to get a physical every 2 years. You have to get your medical done every 2 years. But I had to do it every year because I got a pacemaker. But this anxiety was kicking my butt, and every time I went to do my, I had to do my physical. So when your physical expires, I mean, until you go and get it done, you can't drive. So I couldn't pass my physical because every time I went there, like, because of the anxiety, my heart would be racing, and I was chilling. And, you know, I had to go. Well, I never actually went, but they wanted me to go to the cardiologist to make sure everything was cool. But I ended up, it was the anxiety. But this company, literally, they fired me and never told me. They was in contact with me the whole time that I was off, checking on me every other day. I was supposed to even have get a brand new truck when I got back. I finally get back, and keep in mind, this is a company that I literally was broken down as much as I drove. It was a toss-up. Out of a month, I might drive 2 weeks out the month, 2.5 weeks, a week and a half out of every month. Probably I'm gonna be broken down. It might not be all the way, you know, 4 or 5, 6 days straight, but I might be down for 2 or 3 days, and then 2 or 3 days, or sometimes it was a week at a time. And you got potential to make so much money, 60 cents per mile, and you're driving 3,300 miles a week. You know, that's you getting some money. That's some good money. It's almost 2 racks a week. But then you'll get a good week. You make, say you made 1,900. Then for the next week, you're broken down. And then you take off later than normal. So you have to be back by your dang it, what is it? Your paperwork has to be back, has to be sent to them by a certain date. Otherwise, you won't get paid for the full trip. So if it's not back by a certain time, and a lot of times I wouldn't be back because the truck broke down. From last week, I had to catch up from last week, and you'll get a half a check, and you'll get the remainder on the next week, on the next check. But it was just so many inconsistencies. But the main thing was they treated me like I did something to them. Like I did. I mean, you're supposed to pre-trip, post-trip your truck. You're supposed to, hold on, y'all, this damn seatbelt thing. I did everything you're supposed to do. I drive my butt off. I drive 10, 11 hours a day, easy. 700, at least 700 miles a day. Even if I didn't feel well, I'm doing about 700 miles a day. I drove my butt off. Only complaints I had was the trucks breaking down. Trucks always needed work done. They would never get the actual issue fixed. They would just patch shit up so you could get back home, and then they would put it in the shop when you get back home. Every truck went into the shop every week when you got back, but it's like they was just, I don't know what the hell they was checking. Because all the engine lights, I mean, all the check engine lights, everything, all these codes, I never got into a truck that didn't have a code on the dash. All the check engine lights, you know, they will let us know Monday if it's your weekend to get your kids, and we'll get you back by Friday. They did that maybe twice in 10 months. I go to Oklahoma, that's a 4-day trip. 2 there, 2 back. And then I'll be back early Friday or even Thursday. But they would send me to Kentucky or to Tennessee from Oklahoma. I'm like, I told you guys Monday or even Sunday night, this is my weekend. But they would never, they didn't mess with me. Well, I would get back Saturday morning or something, or Saturday afternoon, and there's nowhere to park on the yard because all the other drivers are home already. But it was like I was asking too much for me to get home, right? To be able to see my kids, or just to get home. If you're driving, if your trip is 2 days to get there or 2.5 days to get there, you should be back in 5 days. Like on the 6th day, early on the 6th day at the latest. But they treated me like shit, man. Like shit. they would leave me stuck on the side of the road. They stopped answering the phone for breakdowns. I would have to wait till the next morning or the afternoon. I'm on the side of the road. The truck won't start. It's burning up. It's summertime. You're in between truck stops. You didn't get nothing you don't got no food. You got a thing of water from the truck stop, but you didn't buy a bunch of food because you planned on getting dinner and stuff later. Like, this is they had me drive, literally, I drove to Arkansas from LA, and my truck wouldn't go faster than 45 miles per hour, and they refused to get it fixed. I didn't stop at the DOT scale because I didn't feel like being held up any longer, because knowing the owner, he would like take his time to get the work done, and you'd just be sitting there. Like, it's crazy. They didn't reimburse me for the hotels. It was a mess, man. It was crazy. They didn't even pay you on time all the time. I had to add up all my miles all the time and send it to the payroll to make sure, like, I'm getting my miles I drove. They would try to cheat you out of your miles every week. But I mean, the whole office staff, it was an office staff of women. That's unheard of. Never been to a trucking company. It's always a mixed staff, women and men. But the owner is a dude, Indian dude, and all the women are Latino. Bitches, badass attitudes, smile in your face when you call them when you're away, and they'll be the biggest bitches. Like, I can't explain. They was just bitches. You get to screaming and cussing at each other. I'm like, yo, I'm calling because I need some gas. You can't even get fuel when you want to. They have specific states that you could get in, that you get fuel in, and if you ran out of gas, because the trucks was raggedy, so they would burn more fuel than necessary. So a lot of times you needed gas before you got to that truck. They'll throw a fit. So I'm like, all right, well, I'll just sit here because I ain't got gas. Y'all want to fuss about this shit? Fix the damn truck. It probably wouldn't burn as much fuel. But it was always an issue, man. That country, Hawk Transportation, Fontana on Arrow Boulevard. If you guys look up the reviews, and you'll be dying laughing at how horrible the reviews are. But I made it on my way out. I resigned in early September, and I made a complaint to the DOT about them, just for I wanted them to get audited. Like, all the trucks is tow up. They refuse to fix the tires. Like, if you got stopped in the scale, you definitely would get like, the owner would be pissed, because they would make you'd have to fix the issues, right? Everything right then and there before that truck could take off again. They'll shut the truck down, and all of those trucks probably needed to be shut down, except for, I guess, this older dude that was there. I drove his truck once. They had to tow a truck all the way from Fontana to New Mexico so I could swap, so I could bring this trailer back to California. You know how much money that costs to tow a big rig from California to New Mexico? And why? Because he refused to get the work done month after month after month for these trucks, so they just die. And the truck, it would just die. Like, the engine's done. So y'all look out for that. If the companies look at the reviews, if they have maintenance issues, if people talk about the equipment, that means they're talking about the tractor. The tractor, that's the big rig, that's the truck. Okay, so tractor and equipment, they're speaking about the truck. If you see your former employees or current employees complaining about the pay, inconsistencies with, they promise you can get guaranteed this amount of money, or guaranteed this amount of miles, and they don't deliver, stay away from that company. Stay away from that company, because you are going to be, it's just going to be a mess, man, and you're going to be pissed off. So what I'm dealing with now, there was one company that would take me after I left them, because they decided to retaliate against me for reporting them to the DOT. So they decided to give me a bad verification, my bad reference, which is illegal. So y'all know, companies aren't supposed to do that. When they call for it to verify, When companies call to verify, they're only verifying. We're only supposed to verify the dates that you worked. No more, no less. So if company give you a bad reference, that's illegal, and you can seek legal action against them. Giving y'all, putting y'all up on game. But it's a mess, man. So I got fired from that company that did hire me. I drove over my hours. I was sick, and I was throwing up, diarrhea, and I was like, man, I didn't want to sleep in the truck. I didn't want to sleep in the truck again. So I just drove the extra couple of hours home, so I could be around the toilet. I needed it to be close. It would have been all bad if I was stuck in that truck. But I got fired the next morning. That was my fault. But I was like, all right, cool. Like, this dude was a dickhead anyway. It was just my time. It was just time to leave this place. Now, usually, I'm gonna tell you like this: you could get you'll be able to find work. I was always able to get I usually have another job lined up. If I planned on leaving a company, I'll give them a 2-week notice. And the only reasons why I would leave a company is because of inconsistent money. Like, since when COVID hit, I went regional right before COVID hit, and it just inconsistencies, man. But I wasn't in the mood to drive local. That's why I hit the road. It's more relaxing and peaceful, but it's not when you have to deal with these piece of shit companies. So what I was saying, yeah, a company that has all international trucks, stay away from them. Companies that have Freightliners and have Peterbilts, Kenworths, they don't mind spending money, and they're gonna maintain those trucks well, for sure. The international are the raggediest of the trucks. Those are like the buckets of the trucks, of the truck mix. But the company retaliated, so I got fired, and I was like, all right, whatever. Like, I'm gonna fuck it. I'm gonna go local then. It's just my time to go back local. I was planning on doing this sooner than later anyway. But from then till now, I've been off of work because the industry, the economy, work is slow for local work, and because of the retaliation for the verification. I've had to send proof to companies that I worked there. They say I never even worked there. And there's a company that actually that does the verification for them, like a staffing place, that does the payroll and the staffing for them. And they changed my verification after I left to make me look unreliable. So I'm gonna have to, it's gonna have to take legal action to both companies. It is what it is. But I'm gonna have to sue them on my own and present the evidence, because I can't find a legal representation in Southern California to represent me. It's clear, plain as day. What they did is illegal. They messed it up. They are getting in the way of my livelihood. I got fired February 28th, and I'm still not at work. It's been 3 full months, and it was partly I got fired. That was my fault. I took responsibility for that. I should have been back on the road within the next 2 weeks. Easy. I should have been back on the road. Ain't no way in hell. But I got companies that text me or they tell me, like, well, it's because of the management, because of this verification. Even though I told them up front, like, you guys, you can contact them, but they on some bullshit. I'm dealing with this and that. That's why I left that company. And a lot of these companies, especially in SoCal, they letting this company win. Fellas, I got biracial kids, but I'm saying in SoCal, like, if you're African American, it's a lot of if you're doing general labor, you got to compete with the Latinos, and most of the people that run into warehouses and these constructions, they're white boys or Latino, and they're gonna look out for their own kind. So you'll get what's left, if anything is left. Warehouse work, construction, all the trade, all that shit. I'm not exaggerating. Like literally, I said, well, I can't do trucking right now. I need some bread. Let me go see what's up with the warehouse. I need to get some bread up, get this money, so I could go and get some inventory. I could at least get some bracelets and some rings, so I could do some marketing and whatnot for the jewelry while I'm off. With this, nothing. No warehouse jobs. There's companies that post literally every other day, and what I do, I start flagging their posts, because as much as I call and email them and apply to every job in the area that they post, they say text this. Like you just posted this 15 minutes ago. They'll never respond. They'll never respond. I said, let me I downloaded text free, and I text them from another number, and I say, hey, this is Julio. Julio is the position, and guess who responded? Yeah, it's bullshit. That's bullshit. But it is what it is. That's how it is down here. That's why I'm transitioning back to NorCal. Hopefully, I'll be moving this week, y'all. On a mission. I stay on the mission, man. I keep it moving. But San Bernardino, I don't know what he was burning the tire for. These dudes is wild. But yeah, I hate that out here. You go to some places and it be with my kid's mom, we'd be at the grocery store or at the park or somewhere, movies, anywhere you go, and it'd be, you would get those looks like, you guys ain't supposed to be together. People be looking at you or looking at her like, what are you doing with a naked? Or what do you like? I hate that crap. Because in the Bay, everybody mess with each other. In the Bay, everybody rock with each other. So down here, all this racial tension and the prejudice crap, like, this is crazy. And they literally don't care. I mean, even just going to the library. You can go to the library and the Filipino people, I know there's a couple libraries I go to. The Filipino people, or yeah, I guess they're Filipino or something, I could tell. But they'll ignore you. Like you're sitting there waiting for them in line. There's nobody else here. You'll be standing there 10, 15 minutes. They won't even acknowledge you. As soon as you walk away, somebody else walk up and they're all smiles and greeting them like kissing their ass. I was like, what? I stopped going to one of these libraries. I had to, when I didn't have Wi-Fi, I was going there to use the Wi-Fi for the laptop and whatnot. But I was like, they just like blatant, right in your face, we ain't fucking with you. Like, it's crazy. And that's how situations happen. Like, hold on, should I go here? How much is the car wash? Ooh, man. To this motherfucker hella slow and shit. Like, this ain't a main street. Excuse me, yeah. Maybe forget what the fuck I was talking about. I was talking about, oh yeah, the prejudice shit. But yeah, that's just something like for people, if you out of state, or if you even if you in NorCal, that's something that you gotta consider. If you I don't like that. I'm a Bay boy. We walk with everybody, and I don't. It's just it's uncomfortable, and I got a temper. I'm a hothead, so you stay away from places that's gonna put you places that's you will be provoked in. You know what I mean? You go around people that's racist, like a lot of these Arkansas. Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana. Trust me, even in California, Nevada, there's a lot of like in the back cuts of the country, off of the 395 and the country. There's a lot of these little cities, little towns where you'll be driving and all you see is you'll see Confederate flags. It's Trump country, and everybody will let you know. They'll make you they'll make you uncomfortable. But I mean, I went through this one town in Arkansas, And I'm gonna tell you like this: everybody I seen, I'm driving through the city to my delivery. I'm talking about everybody that drove by was flipping me off, like I had on a Black Lives Matter shirt or something. I'm just a trucker. Got on my hoodie on my way to a delivery, and everybody that passed by had middle fingers up at me. I was like, bruh, like I told them, don't send me here no more. There's gonna be a problem. You mess around, you pop off at one of them, and you get shot, and the sheriff would just, you can't even call the police if something happened. Like, so watch out for that. Be careful. But if you can stay away from driving regional. Regional is, for the most part, you'll be home every weekend. You'll probably be gone 4 or 5 days. If you go to Washington, that's the 2 days there, 2 days back. You'll be back by the 5th day, early Friday, or maybe Thursday night if the deliveries and pickups is quick. But mostly regional that's what that means. You'll be home every weekend, or every week. If it's not every weekend, you'll be back home every like 7 to 10 days. You'll be 7 to 10 days out, and you'll get 2 or 3 days home. But I prefer the weekends back. That's enough driving. You know, watch out. These companies are they'll work you to death if you don't say nothing. They don't care about your health, your well-being. They don't care how bad the weather is. They don't care about nothing. They just want that load. They want that money, and they just want it to get there on time, preferably. So, like, the trucking industry is manny. It's grimy. So, but if you could help it, get a local trucking job. I know a lot of local jobs, they're hiring people straight out of school. You don't need that much experience. They hire new graduates in 3 to 6 months, and you could be out here making 20-something an hour. Your first job in trucking, 20-something an hour with overtime. If the company drives out of the state, they don't have to pay you overtime. So you gotta look out for that too. They could just pay you a flat rate, and you could be working 10, 12 hours a day, and you won't get no overtime pay. And if you add that 2 to 4 hours every day overtime, that's some bread every week. So if you want that OT, you got to find a company that only drives in Cali, local, and that pays overtime. Usually when they post an ad for the job, they'll let you know it's this much per hour plus overtime. When you talk to the recruiters, let them know or ask them, do you get overtime, or what's the she kind of fine. San Bernardino, this the Blade, this G Street. I had to double back. I didn't see my OG at the barbershop. But yeah, this is downtown San Bernardino. This kind of reminds me of downtown Fairfield. It's like one street. It's like, not one street, but y'all know what I mean. It's like one main street, but little streets off of it. Ain't much. But that's enough about the trucking. Just be careful, because they'll work you to death, and then they'll work you to death and then fire you, leave you with nothing. You'll be spending all of your time on the road and don't even got no money to show for it, because it looks like, well, you always gone. I'm like, yeah, but the truck always breaks down every week out of state, so it's like you're not really eating like you're supposed to. My life would have been completely different last year and this year. Hell, every year, if these companies have been consistent. And with the pay, if I was making 16 or 2 racks a week easy, I wouldn't even be in trucking no more if I had did that for a year straight. But they couldn't keep the trucks on the road long enough for you to really stack up. So, if you can, get the local job, or you go to school. School's only a month. It ain't nothing. And they have financing. If you can't just buy it they got financing. I said, buy. If you can't just pay for it out your pocket, they can finance it. And a lot of companies, they offer the school. They have the school at the company, or they work directly with certain driving schools. So it's easy to get a job, easy to get work once you leave. But I'm saying, go local. You can be home every day, get that overtime, get an endorsement or two. You get your TWIC card. You can work in the ports, and you'll probably be working 12 to 14 hours a day, local. They'll probably be making at least 30 an hour with overtime, 30 hour plus hell overtime. Like, they eating at the ports. You need your TWIC card, get your tanker endorsement, and the hazmat endorsement, so you could drive the fuel tanks, tanker trucks. They make big bang, and a lot of those fuel lines that you see pull up into the gas station, that fuel, they serve the gas station. They making bread, and a lot of those companies is union jobs. So you're set, full benefits for the family. Full benefits for the family. You get top dollar. You ain't got to worry about no BS because it's a union job. You get consistent raises. They don't top out. You get raises within a few years, and then it'll stop. And you'll get a raise probably every 2 or 3 years after the first year or two. You might get a $2 raise in 6 months, another $2 raise, and then it kind of, it slows down. But you set with those jobs. But I got my tanker endorsement. I never needed it yet, but you could, you don't have to drive hazardous materials. You could drive liquid waste, water, milk, stuff like that. You still make hella money. The dump trucks, the people that supply, they bring the materials to construction sites, the dirt and gravel and all that stuff. They make good money, and that's consistent. Construction sites is year round. So they working with the construction sites. You're gonna get that bread consistently. There ain't no slow season. But if I tell y'all, I had to stress this: drive local, or save up, get your own truck. If you have decent credit, you could get into a truck. Literally, if you got a 670, 680 credit score, you could put $5,000 down on a $50,000 truck, 50 or 60 racks. They'll finance you for five bands, easy. I went up there with my boy Marcus. He got a driving school. I'm gonna go up there and do a video with him one of these days. But he got a driving school out here somewhere. I think he's in either Rancho or Fontana. But I left the company we was working at together, and he stayed. But he bought his own truck. So instead of just making $23 an hour, he was making $400, $500, $600 a day. Now that you got your own truck, instead of making like $200, it's a big difference. But he bought another truck, and but the issue with that is finding reliable employees, drivers. So he decided to start a driving school, which is smart. It's very smart. And driving school, if you got the bread to do that, and you find the property, do that. Because the trucking industry, they're gonna need, as much as they talking about doing all these self-driving trucks and stuff, that's gonna be a while before that even. That's not gonna take over the industry. Let's put it that way. There's always gonna be a need for real human drivers. Okay. There's only one company right now in the country that has a fleet of self-driving trucks, and we'll see how long that lasts, because it's too much stuff going on the road. Like, I don't see how that's gonna last. But truck driving school, every week there'll be somebody graduating. You know what I'm saying? After that first class, you got new students coming in every week. Or it might be every couple of weeks. I don't know. But easily I mean, driving school might be $3,000 to $5,000. I can't remember how much. I think mine was like 4 racks, 4,300. But do that times 5 heads. 5. Our class had, we was probably about 10 of us. Just say 4 racks in the middle. 4 racks times 10 for the month. But then I can't remember. They had different. They had morning class. I can't remember, man. It was long. But even if it's just all right, just your class for the month or for the 3 weeks, then some other folks come in at the end when you guys get ready to graduate. Shit. That's 40 racks a month. I mean, just from the students, you know, minus, you know, of course, the instructors. You don't got to worry about fuel that much. You do most of the driving class is on the yard, and then when you are driving, you drive around the city for a little bit. I mean, a full tank probably lasts a week or longer, because you ain't doing that much driving. You're practicing, you're backing up, parking, all of that stuff before you get out on the road. And then when you get on the road, everybody take turns driving. You might drive 5 miles. You guys might be out for like an hour or two, because everybody got to drive. You might drive 10, 15 minutes, and then the next person drive 10, 15 minutes, stuff like that. Like, it was always 4. I don't think it was 4 of us. It was either 3 or 4 of us in the truck at a time. They had 3 or 4 instructors. It was 3 or 4 instructors. So yeah, we had 3 or it was, forget the numbers. It's some good money, and that's for show money every month. You're gonna have students, and yeah. So shout out to my boy Marcus. But yeah, that's enough. I'm gonna get off of here talking about but that's how my whole On a Mission, that's how the brand started. I started trucking, and I was like, you know what, I didn't like it. I was driving across the country my first 6 months, and I was like, you know what, I mean, I could do better than this, but this is gonna be a stepping stone, right? That was 9 years ago. I said it was gonna be a stepping stone, but I'm gonna turn this On a Mission into a brand, because I'm always driving. Even if I wasn't trucking, I was always on the road. I'm always wiggling. But this On a Mission, it ain't just about I started off with the music, put it on hold for a bit, then I got back to it, and we was lit for like a year, and then it I lost the passion. It was just too many. People didn't appreciate, everything you was doing. All the money you got, all the time and money invested and all this stuff, man. But I was like, you know what? I just lost the passion for it. And I said, forget the music. So, On a Mission TV, Thomas Jules. That's where it's at. When I get back home, for all my guys out there in the Bay, I'm gonna tap in. We're gonna get some dope content in. We're gonna bring some dope interviews. I know so many gifted and talented people. Like, I go back home, and this page would have been up. I would have had too much content. Like, I would have had to pace it out, stretch it, because I'd have just been flooding YouTube. They already hating. If anybody is bored, go to my YouTube. Go to my YouTube and look at the total channel views, and then go to the videos and add them up and see if the views on the videos add up to what it say the channel has, because they've been hating. They've been hating, man. But it is what it is. I'm gonna still keep putting out content, but yeah, this is gonna be an On a Mission Gems episode. I'm gonna do these more regularly too. So, man, if y'all appreciate the info, man, tap in with your boy. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. If you got questions about trucking, especially in SoCal, or just questions about the industry, leave a comment. I'll talk back. And I'll see you on the next video, man. Go on.